Hey guys. Hey everybody. I'm running a little bit behind. I accidentally shut down my computer instead of getting it going for today. So we're gonna have to uh-oh. Wrong way, wrong way. Okay. So I'm getting there. I'm getting this all set up. So as people are joining us, this is good. Lark, you're all covered up. Can't even hardly recognize you. Hiding more. All right. Looks like we're waiting on the Holdens. All right, everybody. I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to watch a bunch of really cool videos of snakes eating. And this is about 30 minutes long. We'll pause every now and again to talk about some neat adaptations and some other things going on with the snakes. But I'm hoping you'll learn something today, and I'm hoping you'll get a chance to ask me any questions that you have. Please do. You can type them in the chat if you don't want to ask them to everybody. I don't know if you guys have used Zoom before. Type them in chat, or you can type them. You can ask them. Just interrupt me and ask them. So I'm going to share my screen here. Here we go. So we're going to start off with this little corn snake, and we're going to watch how this little guy just attacks this mouse. It's really kind of neat. All right, here we go. Let's hit play. Oh, and I have some crazy music. I didn't expect him to grab the mouse that fast, but he surely did. But look at how a corn snake, will fully constrict it. This is going to be different. This is going to be different from some of the other snakes we look at, and watch how they constrict. So corn snakes constrict with their whole body. They'll just wrap around the prey. And then we're gonna watch this guy. He immediately starts eating because he realized that the mouse was not alive anymore. Watch, it's buzzing its tail. Can you see how it's buzzing its tail back there? The snake knows that I'm there. Now watch how this skull. We want the parts of the skull we're watching are the front jaw right here, inside the mouth, and how the rows of the teeth work. The bones right here, and then the bottom bone, the bottom jaw bone. We're going to look at all those in detail as we go on there. So here we go. Here's this is the actual corn snake skull. And if you notice, look at the connection, this connection of the teeth on the top, the outer row teeth. There's only one little small connection there to the other parts of the skull. Think about your jaw and how your top teeth are connected. They're fused in. All those bones are fused together. And that makes a huge difference. Now also look down here, and how the two dentary bones that are covered in teeth here are not fused. There's a gap there. And then as we go way down here, and this is the other bone we got to pay attention to. This is the quadrate bone. And snakes, they're all snakes have different shapes and sizes of this quadrate bone, and it has to do with their adaptations for what they're eating. And what they go after. So we're going to look, this is just the corn snake. And so what you can't also see in here, but you can kind of see them here, is there's another set of teeth, or rows of teeth in the middle of their jaw that allow them to hold on to the prey. And we're going to look here, and let me see. Oh, I missed the pause. Oh, I'm missing it. But we'll just watch inside there, and you can see the rows of teeth and how they come into play right where my cursor is. How they come into play as this snake walks its head over. And remember, the connection of this top bone that's covered in teeth, there's only one little connection right here, right in front of the eye, right below in front of the eye. that allows it to pivot and pull up to the sideways. Now there's not, we didn't, the corn snake ate so fast, that's all we got of this one. But we're gonna go really quickly now to a boa constrictor. And watch how the boa constrictor strikes and constricts very differently. It's a lot faster of a strike. And look, it has one coil. And this is important. The boas and pythons, for some reason, just use that one coil. I'm gonna pause and just go back. I should have done a freeze frame in here. But that one coil there is significant because look at the body region that that coil is around. It's around the heart and the lungs, the chest cavity of that rat. And that allows them to be really efficient constrictors, hence the name boa constrictor. That's how they get their name. They're the only species of snake that has the same common name as they do scientific name. So if you know this one's common name, you know it Latin, you know that it's boa constrictor. Now it's searching for the head with its smells, and then when it starts eating, watch how the mouth just opens up gently. Look how moist it is inside the mouth there. And we'll watch as it slowly starts working its way out. Watch these muscles on the top of the head as it, oh, it saw me. Watch these muscles right here. You can see them all flex, and then what they're doing is reaching forward. Watch them again here, reaching forward and then pulling backwards or kind of grabbing on tight. Now remember the quadrate bone. We're going to see the skull of this snake in a second here. The quadrate bone's in here, and then you got the dentary bones as they go forward, and then the bones at the top of the skull. The teeth structure are so out of this world different with a boa constrictor compared to the corn snake. They have very specialized long teeth in the front for piercing through bird feathers. They eat a lot of birds, and for and just grasping and holding prey as they throw that single coil of a loop. There you go. You can see all the rows of teeth inside its mouth there. And so we got, remember, we'll get to see a skull here in a second, but quadrate bone, the dentary bones, and then the bones in the top of the skull with that small connection. Look at those teeth. The small connection, just one connection. All right, here we go. Let me pause it here. It's a little bit more fused there, but this is a boa skull. Look at the teeth on it. They're all coiled back. You can see how it's separated apart in the middle. And then you've got, it's like just, I don't know how, it's almost like a wing, how it's connected on there. It's a wing, so that the top row of teeth can flex out and up and forward. And then look how small its quadrate bone is. It's got a really long dentary bone, but the quadrate bone is a lot smaller. And that just, as we watch it eat, we can kind of see how that now can, you can start seeing those bones through the skin as you're watching it, and kind of understand how it's going forward as it swallows this prey. Well, let me pause right there. I want to go back just a hair. Right there. See the rows of teeth. We got the inside row, the outside row on the top. Notice how you can't see the teeth. They're all covered in skin, and that's to protect them. It's like having knives that you don't just throw your really nice knives into the silverware drawer. You put your knives in a knife block, in a block, to protect their edge and their sharpness. Same with snake teeth. They want to protect those teeth, and they keep them sheathed until they need them. Watch down here at the bottom, and you'll see some teeth come out just a little bit. And the last video we're going to show today is pretty gruesome, and so I saved it for last. So if you can't handle as we're going more gruesome's not the worst, more graphic, because it's really not gruesome. This is what snakes do. This is the reality of snakes eating. But we'll see real super long teeth in the last snake that we're doing. All right, here's that skull again, different skull, but you can see how it's separated there, and then you can see the joint that allows the top teeth to move, and then of course the quadrate bone that comes down and then swings out. So those are the important parts of a snake skull while it eats. And then there's something else we're going to talk about in a little bit, is this structure right here. We'll talk about it when we get to the python and when the python eats. But that structure is really important for allowing snakes to eat their prey whole. Without it, they couldn't do it. And now Watch how you can actually see the separate bones there, like a little dimple in the chin. It reaches forward to one side. Do you see that? And now watches as it swallows the prey here. I'll zoom out a little bit. I'll zoom out a little bit here so you guys can see it swallow it just a little bit. Oh, there's that structure again I'll talk about in a little bit right there. But watch how it can now forces the prey now, just a solid muscle contraction as to have it go down its body. All right, we got to the hognose snake. Hognose snakes are a little bit different. They fake strike. This what our hognose snake is like defensive. And oh, you brought me food? Okay, great. I'll eat right now. Thank you very much. And so he was scared to death, but he's so used to us. He's like, okay, I'm going to eat instead. I'm not too worried about it. So as we're watching this snake eat, there are a lot of people talk about rear-fanged snakes. And it drives me, almost makes me want to pull my hair out. Yes, they do have big teeth in the back of their mouth. But are they technically fangs? I'll pause right here. You can see them right here. These teeth, they look like fangs, but they're not on hinges like a fang is, or they're not hollow like a cobra fang, which is not on a hinge. They're not hollow teeth for injecting venom. They're just like all snakes. We've already seen the skulls of the corn snake, and we've seen the skull of the boa. We can see how amazingly different the skulls are. And wait till you see the hognose snake skull. They are fully adapted for, really short head. I mean, the head is very, very short. And then the jaw just basically falls open and food comes in because they're adapted to eating toads. I know we're feeding this one a mouse, but their main prey item is toads. And you can see that, you can see how that tooth is working there. It's not a fang. It's just fancy dentition, fancy teeth. Just like we have canines and we have molars and we have incisors. They have different teeth just like other animals. And they have a lot more than one. Everybody says they just have one fang, but if you look in here, there's 1, 2, 3 teeth there, which is just really amazing, especially now when you see the skull. And I think we get to the skull here in a second, but just watch how that snake eats. All right, here's that skull. This one's got 2 big teeth, and sometimes they'll have a third in there. So what they are, those are replacement teeth, but those are pretty much all the teeth a hognose snake has. It doesn't have very many other teeth. This is the same snake that we just saw, and this is the skull. But look at this amazing adaptation. How much bigger is that quadrate bone? That's because they eat beach balls. If you eat a toad, you're basically eating a beach ball. And so you have to be able to open up your mouth incredibly wide in order to get that down. And so you've got these fancy teeth. They are not fangs. They are not hollow. They are more adapted for puncturing the toad's skin, and so that there's actually a gland that fits right in the skull here. You can't see the gland. That is a saliva gland that has really toxic proteins in it to toads. It will cause a reaction. And actually, this snake has bitten me, and I had no reaction to it. Remember how I was going after the mouse? Well, my finger got in the way one day, and it got my finger. But I had no reaction to it. Some people do have a severe reaction to a hognose snake bite. To where your arm would swell up, but it is not dangerous to humans. They don't have a true venom. They have no venom gland. They have a Duvenois gland, which is just the saliva gland. You have Duvenois glands in your mouth. Helps you digest. All right. Here's the python. So we got to the python. We're going to talk about that other structure. Now watch the similarity to, I know it's a slow strike. Sawa's kind of getting used to having dead prey. Watch the similarity in the constriction though. One major loop around the heart. See that one major loop around the heart of the body, around the lungs. Sorry, this is a little when they gas the rats, that makes them bleed out of the nose. When we buy them wholesale, but you can see that how you have that one construct around the main body cavity, and that's really helps them kill their prey a lot faster. And she's going to look around. Actually, it took her about 20 minutes, believe it or not, to feel comfortable and to finally look around to start eating. And she came and she sniffed the tail. We cut all this out. She sniffed the head. She sniffed the tail. She came back to the head and then starts eating. And here she is. She's going to start eating now. and she's holding tight as she's working her front feet, her front teeth around to hold. I didn't include a skull picture of the python, but think of the boa with more teeth is what a python mouth looks like. The skull of it, and the quadrate bone's about the same size as the boa's quadrate bone. All right, so we want to start looking right down in this part as these arms get folded in. And this is why they eat head first, so the arms can fold in and back along the body. If you eat tail first, that arm's going to stick out and get caught right in here. Look how short, remember the boa had the really short quadrate bone? A really short quadrate bone here. And then you got the long, the dentary bones here that are covered in teeth. And watch, we'll get down in here as these arms get folded in, and we'll get to see a special, the glottis is what I'm wanting you to look for here. Look at those teeth. And she's still holding on to it with a tight coil right there. Still holding on. That's so it doesn't get away even if it's still alive. No, I don't know. Snakes don't have arms and legs, right? So if you just throw out a rat there, and we're gonna see one that just doesn't hold on to its prey as it eats. But if you're eating really big prey, you need to have some sort of leverage point. All right, now watch this. This is what we're looking at here. This is called the glottis, and this is when it takes 5 hours for you to eat a prey item, you need to be able to breathe. And so their glottis is very, very muscular, and yours is muscular too, but theirs is adapted to reach out, push out right here so that it can take a breath while it's eating. Our largest python, Xena, it took her 5 hours to eat a chicken one time. And could you hold your breath and eat for 5 hours? Think about that. No. And so they have to have an adaptation. Normally, they're breathing through their nostrils up here. Then the air goes down. Oh, here we go. Right there. You can see that glottis. Fully open, fully taking a deep breath while she's eating. These holes here are the heat-sensitive pits. These are the heat-sensitive pits along the edge of the mouth there. So we'll watch a little bit more of her swallowing this. See those teeth come forward? She still has her glottis extended. Look at the top row teeth there. All right. She's almost got it down. All right, now this is when we get to watch how she uses her body and the muscle contractions. Watch right here as the rat gets pushed down. That's the head of the rat getting pushed down her body. And she'll take a breath, and then she'll do it again. And she'll push down further to get it going down further. It's really like stuffing sausage. I don't know if any of you guys have ever stuffed sausage, but it's the same way. You push in, or squeezing toothpaste. You push in and you kind of fill up the sausage casing. And then when she's done with pushing it in, she's got to get it all the way in here. Watch her body, watch her the constriction here of her neck muscles, pushing it down. She actually goes one step further and rubs her face all over the ground to kind of just like wiping your mouth. She doesn't have any hands to wipe it. Here she goes. Watch this. And she'll so the other side of her mouth is more open. Oh, we can watch the constrictions here still. Oh, now she's going to rub her head a little bit and just kind of then slither off and be ready to look for a new meal. All right, the next snake we're going to do is the bull snake. Bull snakes are famous eaters. They are powerful constrictors, but if they know they don't have to constrict something, they are probably the fastest eaters that we have at the lab. These are small mice, but this is we chose to feed this one 2 mice for this. I probably should have gotten out 4 or 5, but this snake's going to eat 2 mice in under it's under 2 minutes. And this is similar to a bull snake finding a rabbit's nest or finding a field mouse nest. Mom rabbit or mouse is going to come and try and get rid of the baby. She's going to come in and either attack the snake. Rabbits are known to do that. Or she's going to come in and she's going to try and grab her babies and get them out of there before the bull snake can eat them. And so what the bull snake is going to do is just going to get in there and eat them all as fast as humanly possible. And it's really pretty impressive on this bull snake. Sawa, when she was done eating, she was done. She just spent 30 minutes swallowing, capturing, killing, and swallowing a rat. Now, 30 minutes is a long time to be exposed. So she's like, I'm going to go find some place to digest. I ate a large meal. A bull snake is a little bit different in terms that this, like, she is right now looking at me like, all right, what you got for me? And so I will put it, watch her attack the second mouse. That she hadn't even finished swallowing. That other mouse is still in her throat. She hadn't even finished swallowing, and she's already immediately attacking that second one to eat it. I probably could have given her 3 or 4, maybe even 5 mice just back to back like that, similar to raiding a rabbit's nest or something. So watch what she's done with eating this one. She's going to come and look at me and say, hey, where is my next mouse? She was not done, and I wasn't prepared. I should have had a lot more for her. Watch her here. A little bit out of focus here. Focus ended up back here where she's doing all her swallowing action. She's like, hey, where's my next mouse? You got it for me? Where is it? Looking around. Wants another one. All right. The next snake, this is the last snake we're going to do today. Maybe we'll do some more of these, some other snakes next Friday. But this is our Amazon Tree Boa. And now if you have young kids or whatever, this is going to be the gruesome one. The teeth are very scary. The teeth are very long. Scary isn't the wrong word. They're adapted for capturing and holding prey in the air so that the snake can eat. As you can tell, I added a log to this video. This snake can't just eat on the ground. If you put it on the ground, it's going to have a little bit more trouble eating than just letting it dangle up in the air. And then the other thing that this snake does is that's a little bit graphic is that it takes the mouse and it eats it sideways and folds it in half while it eats it. So it didn't go for the head like most of them do. But we're going to get a chance to see this Amazon Tree Boa as it starts eating. Now watch, they have some of the longest teeth of any snake in the world. They are just needles. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen me bitten by this snake before, but it's just a quick little bite when it's defensive, and then there's no blood. Then all of a sudden, it's like having your finger pricked. The blood just kind of appears. There's not much pain, and so if you can see how long these teeth are. And then what we're going to watch for here is right here. We want to watch for the glottis. Now remember, boas have short quadrate bones and really long dentary bone. Look at those teeth. She poked her, or he. This is a he. He poked himself with his tooth. But so the short quadrate and then the really long bone here, and that is an adaptation for eating large prey. And we'll get to see the top teeth here as well. And remember, why are they covered in skin? It's like protecting your best set of knives. You're not going to just throw those into the silverware drawer. You're going to put them in a knife block to keep them nice and sharp and ready for your next use. And their teeth are actually pretty fragile, and they can break pretty easily as well. So that's why they keep them covered in skin. I'm going to jump forward just a little bit. We'll watch it here. Oh, there we go. I wanted to see that glottis. So here's the glottis coming up to take a breath. Right there. And then watch these teeth. Reach it forward. So if you're fully adapted to dangle from a tree branch and eat, if you had really short teeth, your prey might slip away. And so you have these really long teeth. No, they don't always fold their prey in half. I think that this snake is, Greg, I think the snake is so used to eating small, we feed it smaller mice, and you'll see at the end that it didn't have to worry about which end it is. I've seen photographs of these snakes that have eaten prey items in the Amazon. The snake couldn't move after it ate. I mean, it was so engorged and just big that it couldn't move, and there's no way it could have folded that in half. This one routinely does it. I think there's that glottis breathing. I think it just does it because it's feeding a small mouth. I've never fed this one a large rat. I probably we could, that's something we could try. Maybe we'll try that and just see what happens. See if it takes it a while to eat it. But no, it doesn't always fold it in half. All right, so let's watch this. So you can see that glottis, the teeth. Look how it holds onto the prey with a single body loop. Remember, this is a boa. It's got more loops here, but that one main loop to hold on to it as it eats it. It keeps stabbing itself. It's kind of neat, though, how those long, sharp teeth do that. Now you can see the other side moving. I don't know if you guys, adults, you probably know the movie Predator. You know when the Predator opens up his mouth and screams at Arnold Schwarzenegger? That almost reminds me of a right there. You can see how far apart those two bottom jaws are. I mean, that is a good inch now. And then here's the jaw of that snake. So look at the length of these teeth. It's just unreal. And the top is not as flexible. You can see how it's a lot more fused than like the corn snake was, but it still this front half. Look, that there's no bone connection to the front half of that bone, so it can tilt and twist. And then there's the quadrate bone again that allows an extra pivot point as they're eating, which allows their mouth to open really, really wide. All right, so now we'll get a chance to, I think, finish this up. We're almost out of time here for our 30 minutes, and I'm gonna, oh, look at that. Look at those teeth. Let's just do that one more time. That was too good. Watch these teeth right here. Reach forward almost like fingers. I mean, they really almost like fingers, and they're reaching out and putting that and making sure that the prey goes down the gullet instead of falling out. And that's what they're like, for not having arms and legs, you've got a hand on the mouse here, and then you got your fingers reaching up and pulling it into your mouth there. And we talked about this when we did this class at 10 a.m. You can see the elliptical pupil. That's an indication that these snakes are nocturnal. Elliptical pupils can open up wider than round pupils just from the physics of where the extra tissue has to go. And so they can open up wider, which is really kind of a neat adaptation for nocturnal vision. All right, I'm going to zip forward here a little bit all right, here we go. So now you can see how the skin is covering the teeth. And then as it reaches forward, watch what the skin does. It comes back, and then it can reach in and like just almost like fingers or a comb, pull that mouse in. And that's funny to see the nose of the mouse and the tail in the same shot. And you can see how the other side did it too. And then there's the glottis. Normally that glottis, when the mouth is closed, normally that glottis is right here touching the roof of the mouth. And so they breathe in through the nostrils, in through the glottis, into their lungs. But now when their mouth is full of prey, they use that. Look at both sides now, reaching forward. Now I think we get the chance to see the other side a bit. All right, I'm going to scroll through here. Now this is what I wanted to show you. So it's really fun to watch the Amazon Tree Boa eat, because this is a 5-foot long snake that doesn't get any bigger around than about a quarter. That's about the diameter of a quarter. So you eat a mouse, you have an amazing lump in your body that we get to watch as it goes down. And so this is where, this snake probably could eat a small rat, which is probably about 50% of its body mass. And if you were to do that, look at how stretched out the scales are. And each one of these scales, is just embedded in the skin, and now you can see all the skin beneath that, and you can see the little ball that it's eating because it folded it in half. And so scales are analogous to hair. And so if we were to think about our hair on our body, and you look at your hair, and you can see how you have all your hair follicles, and how they're spread out. Now the scales are all spread out here when there's a prey item in it. So now you can really see that. Same with bird feathers is another analogy. of scales, and where the origin of scales is very, very similar. So just it's really neat to be able to compare and contrast birds, mammals, and reptiles, and you can see how think about it, if that were a hair, that would if snakes ever developed hair, you'd have a hair coming out where every scale is. It would be a hairy. It'd look like a mammal. I mean, it'd be a fur ball, a long, skinny fur ball, like a weasel or something like that. All right. So that's really all I've got for you. You can kind of see that ball as it pushes it down. See how long and thin this snake is. It's just really impressive that they can eat what they can eat. All right. Anybody have any questions? No? Hopefully it was you learned something today. I'm hoping that you were able to see a snake eating up close. We've done all those feeding Fridays where I'm holding the snake in my hand, but it just doesn't do the same as being able to actually see the skull for one, and then see how the bones can move independently as the snake eats. You know, the right, left, and just all the different motions, and then being able to watch the glottis reach forward and just be able to take a breath every few minutes. It's just awesome to me that snakes can do this. All right, looks like we got a question. All right, what about the glottis?
So you said that when their mouth is closed, their glottis is pressed up against the roof of their mouth, and they breathe through their nostrils. Do they not have air passages that go from their nostrils back into their respiratory system, or is it all through the glottis?
All through the glottis.
Wow.
Yeah. So the nostrils go straight through the skull, straight into the mouth. And if you have a dead snake, Eric, if you ever find a roadkill snake or something, you can actually put a stick right through it and it'll come out in the mouth. And there's no other passages that go back. It's really kind of neat. All right. Anything else? All right, Andrew, you got a question? Turn.
So is it true that after snakes eat a big meal, do they just sleep a long time?
Yeah, they have to digest, right? And so their bellies are so full. And we didn't talk about this, what happens after a snake eats, its heart doubles in size. Its the number of times its heart beats per minute goes up by 2 times. So if it was beating 50 times a minute, now it's beating 100 times a minute. Their intestines double in size, and then they just sit and they digest. And if it's a really big meal, it can be 2 weeks sometimes. Like when Xena, our big python, eats a chicken, we don't touch her for 2 weeks, and she just lays there. She's got a big lump inside of her, and it takes that long to digest. Yep, they just kind of just they go someplace nice and hot, and they don't always sleep, but they're definitely immobile.
And also, what kind of snake is Nagini?
What was that?
What kind of snake is Nagini from Harry Potter?
A made-up one. It's kind of a mixture. It's kind of a mixture between a reticulated python and a Burmese python, but it's just I don't know I don't know what snake inspired Nagini in the books, but the one in the movie is kind of a made-up one. But in the books, I don't know. It probably would be my guess would be a reticulated python, the way it kind of looks in the movie. But you never know. I've never asked the author that question. It'd be a good question to ask her. All right, guys, it's after 5. Thank you so much for your time. Feeding Friday's over. If you can, give us feedback on Facebook or whatever, if this is a good way of showing snakes eat, or should we go back to the live event of actually watching them, holding them and seeing them eat that way? Just let us know what seems to be better. This, I think, is a little bit, since we can get so close to the snake with high quality video, I think this works better. Yeah. I see people shaking their heads, yes. All right, good. Well, so we'll do it again. Maybe we'll do garter snakes next week, and we'll maybe do a snake that eats fish next week. How about that? We'll get to watch one eat a fish. We'll do some crazy things. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.